Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dancer, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. Today, given that we are in the month of May and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I always like to honor that month by doing things that relate to it. So, for instance, at the studio, we are doing classes that relate to different parts of mental health. We have classes using songs that have relation to depression, songs that have relations to therapy. And naturally, I wanted to have a podcast episode that was about something a little bit more related to mental health. So today's episode is about when dance is not enough. And when you're living or maybe reliving a trauma and you get re-triggered. I'm choosing to bring this up right now because I think that it's not as uncommon as it may seem. When we look at dance, when we look at dancers, especially when we're thinking about dance in the first function, entertainment, we think about being entertained. We think of liveliness. We think of smiles. We think of, yeah, being happy, maybe being at a show, watching some dancing, going to a concert, seeing some dancing, going to a dance class, dancing. And I just want to remember too that there's art in the second function. Art in the second function is a more artistic approach to dance. So that's where our modern dancers will be coming in here and be like, oh, that's us. Any artistic performances that you've ever seen or been in. We have our feeling side of dance where we are more so expressing than entertaining. Our gaze is slightly adjusted. We might not be making as much contact with the audience. We might be more inward and less outward. I think Mental Health Awareness Month is a perfect time to acknowledge that this is still a beautiful form of dancing, and it is absolutely just as important as dance in the first function, which is to purely entertain. I got to learn this not the hard way. I mean, I guess it was a little bit hard. It was shocking. I'll say that. I had gone from competitive dance in high school and rushed right into my dance minor at Providence College. And it was modern dance. Everything was modern, 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 modern. I was confused. I was like, hold up, what is this? What are we doing? It was shocking. One, because it was something that I had never done before. And two, because I didn't love it. Of course, I had appreciation for it. I've always had an appreciation for any type of dance. However, what I wanted to be doing was the showmanship part of dance, the part that is interacting with audience, the part that is happy, the part that you kind of you have a special feeling that's here versus if you're just listening, I'm like showing my face like being like happy and proud versus being here and inside. And that's not to say that art in the second function can't be a little bit happy. Like you can most certainly be artistic and happy. However, it opens up a great window for us as dancers to be expressive and to potentially relieve, release, break free, find light in different things that we have going on around our life. So today I was struck by a story from one of my friends, and she's doing such a great job going to therapy, and she told me that like her therapy session was intense. And I I felt that intensity right away. See, she's not just my friend, she's also my student. And as a teacher, we get close to our students and we learn about them. We learn about their histories, their pasts, where they're going, their goals, their achievements. It's a really special position to be a teacher. It's truly an honor to be a teacher. And of course, being a friend and being a teacher, it also comes with knowing things that you would never want your students, your friends to go through. Something that I love about my students, and I'm sure many of your students, if you're a dance teacher, or your peers, if you're a dancer, or just people you know in general, if you're just out in the world, is you've witnessed this before. You've seen and heard stories potentially of someone you love going through something and watching them recover. Maybe you yourself are doing that right now. Maybe no one knows you're doing it right now because you think it's better to do it alone. Maybe not. And when you're a dancer, dance is your happy place. I don't know many dancers personally that dance isn't their happy place. Even when I'm the saddest I've been, in the most pain, physically, mentally, dance is always my happy place. Better than a great meal. It's better than a vacation. It's better than a hot shower. It's better than a good night's sleep. See, the thing with dance is it always does the trick. We get so expressive that we trick our brains. Dancers are really good at trickery. When we're in pain and someone's watching us dance, no one knows. Unless, of course, that's our job, to express pain. And then they think, wow, look at her expressing pain. And I mean pain physically, and I obviously mean especially pain mentally. So what happens when dance doesn't do the trick? What happens when it's not your happy place? What happens when it feels okay and life still feels cloudy? You might still feel numb. You might still feel broken. What then? What do you do? So today's episode is about sharing just a couple of reframes. I love reframes. They help me. Josh is really good at reframes too when I'm unable to do them by myself. And also some tricks, just a couple of things just to take note of when life feels heavy. So the first is the acknowledgement that it's okay to not be okay. I know you know that one. We'll move along from that one. That's the easy one, right? We just know it. And we logically know it. Do we fully embrace it? That's the second question. Knowing it, being able to articulate it, being able to repeat it is much like an affirmation. You can say it all day. It's when you start to believe it that it actually truly becomes something that's part of you. It's okay to not be okay. Believing in that. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How is it possible? I mean, how? How is it possible? I mean, have you ever felt that pain where it's just like, no, I'm not okay. Like, no, not okay. You might be like crying for friendship. You might be like, wishing, the loneliness would go away. Maybe it's something that is just like deep within you that you feel like you're unable to share. Because when we don't feel okay, we feel it in our body, feel it in our chest, especially a dancer. I mean, we're so in tune with our body that of course we would feel it in our body. It makes so much sense. I'm sure athletes are the same way. When you have so much body awareness, everything's visceral. So when you're not okay and you're dancing, it can feel disconnected. And to be true, my guy, Joe Dispenza, I do love him. This is actually important to recognize because what our brain does for us is really great. And sometimes it royally fucks us. And when it is royally fucking us, it will trick us into creating the same brain patterns over and over and over again until we break them. This is a podcast episode for another day about breaking these patterns and how it applies to dance. Today, I want to strictly focus on when you're feeling not okay, how to move through that, how to make dance still your happy place. And again, the only way forward is through. So how to keep going, how to stay motivated. When we're feeling these feelings, it might spike old habits such as isolation. It might bring us to different places, could experience flashbacks. You could spiral. There might be some setbacks. Of course, there's self-doubt, questioning. That's us being aware, which is step number one. Always being aware. We know this. When we recognize that dance is there for us to do something, when we dance, we might get into the habit of dancing for fun. And scientifically, we might not know everything awesome that dance does for us. It regulates our nervous system. In fact, one of my friends does this really cool form of therapy called EMDR, and it's like the oscillation of your eyes moving back and forth and tapping your body on different sides. And talking with her and reading about it too, like walking is kind of like exercising that, and performing is as well, because usually when you're performing, you're looking at different areas of the room. Your eyes are going back and forth, and you have different sides of your body working at different times. And it's helpful for our body to get grounded, and it connects us to our present self, and it allows us to give our nervous system a break. When we go through a situation that is re-traumatizing or re-triggering, we're going into a mode of fight or flight all over again. Our nervous system is not okay. So in order to help it, we do things that help it. Dancing, maybe journaling, and there's tons of other things. We'll talk about that in a second. The expectation that dance can be healing is a beautiful sentence. I would then say, for something like this, dance helps. However, it doesn't heal. Because when you're truly healing, you're processing, you're sitting with it, you're going deep with it, because these things that are as traumatic as they may be, it's almost like they need this type of honoring towards it. It wants you to sit with it. And it makes sense because, especially trauma, I'm not a therapist, but from what I know about it, it's stored very deep, which means it takes a lot to bring it up, and it takes a lot to bring it back down. It takes a lot to move through it, and there's a lot of pain that comes with it. And while it might be so great to be dancing through it, you heard that, dance through life, to acknowledge also that dance isn't going to heal it. I think that's okay. That dance wouldn't heal a deep, deep wound. Dance did not heal the inside of my knee. It made me feel better about it. But no, a doctor healed the inside of my knee. She had to go in there, cut me open, and extract these giant tumors. The dance floor wasn't going to do that. So I think it's okay to understand that, yes, dance helps. Dance is amazing. And also, sometimes dance is not 100% healing. So what can we do? One thing would be just to acknowledge that this is not a personal failure. This is a trauma response. You can name it. Might be hard to. You might need to do this with your therapist, and that's okay too. And then also to do things that are grounding. So yes, dance is beautifully grounding. So is taking a walk. So is journaling. So is a hot and cold alternating shower or bath. Acknowledging your safety simply by saying, I'm safe right now. Lying on the floor, meditating, closing your eyes, or talking to your safe person. Who is that for you? Acknowledging that you also have tools. Therapy is a beautiful tool. Any type of nervous system work. We just talked about EMDR. Again, I'm not a therapist. However, my friend is, and she says that it works really great for certain clients. Again, I am not a therapist. Make sure you check with yours. And then, of course, the B word, boundaries, understanding what you might need differently this upcoming week, this upcoming month, this upcoming hour, and self-talk. Giving yourself little pep talks, that's okay. You get to do that. Maybe taking a mental health day, changing the pattern up a little bit, going somewhere where it's warm if it's cold, doing something you haven't done in a while that you love. And when you do come to dance and you do want to experience your happy place, dance differently. Let go of the expectations that you need to be a certain way at dance. Remember, unlearning and reclaiming. You get to show up differently, and it doesn't have to be a secret. It doesn't have to be something to be upset about either. Because when you're dancing through trauma, you could be dancing with 20% of yourself. Like that might be all you have that day. And guess what? You still showed up. You're still dancing. You're still moving your body. You're still teaching yourself that it's okay to move through these feelings. You get to give yourself this permission to be 20%. Maybe you're used to being 100, doing things at 100 all the time. Maybe that's pressure that you put on yourself. Maybe you get to unlearn that and allow yourself to know that 20% is okay. Releasing structure. Perhaps dance is the place where you like the structure. Maybe you embrace what is unstructured at dance, the improvisation, the facials, maybe even the outfit. Because yes, while structure is so important, so is the contrast to that. Remember, yin and yang. And then understanding and knowing that dance can be expressive and it doesn't have to be performative. And then lastly, just giving yourself the permission to rest and to pause. Sometimes the most healing move is to not move. And you'll know this about yourself. And you can also trial and error, right? You can try it, see what feels good. Maybe it's the day, maybe it's the night, maybe it's the season, maybe it's the moon phase, but you'll know. Don't forget that the ugly stage isn't just with dance. It's with life and it's with healing. There's certain parts of the stage where you're healing and it might not feel pretty, and it doesn't have to. And just as dancers dance with grace, we also want to give ourselves grace in this process. No pressure, no timeline, just you. So just some finishing thoughts. Trauma showing up does not mean that you're failing. It means that you're growing. It means that you're human. Dance is a powerful tool, and it's not the only tool. An invitation to seek out a therapist is always a good idea. An invitation to pause, rest, release in ways outside of dance is another idea. And knowing that you have it, you have power, you have persistence, and you can keep going. And when you have a speed bump, you bump over it and the road keeps going. Your car feels it, your body feels it, and you keep going. So I hope that today, as we sit here in Mental Health Awareness Month, that you are able to be a little kinder towards yourself when trauma comes up. Acknowledge that it's okay, but truly believe that it's okay to not be okay. If you are struggling with your mental health, you do deserve help, you do deserve care, and you do deserve to feel better. So make sure to use the hotline 998 if you are feeling like you need more help. You do not have to be alone. If this episode was helpful for you, please don't forget to give us 5 stars on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. It's you and me together that make this world a better place. See you on the dance floor.